This is the correct part 6 tutorial for Pirates Medley. So, are you guys ready for this? I'm going to start at the end again, like around letter I. It's pretty straightforward. Everything's just on the main beats. The part before it is going to be the trickier part of the rhythm. But there's one thing to know about the whole thing from G to the end. An eighth note is always an eighth note. It's always the same length. So whether you're going 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's all going to be that the eighth notes are the eighth notes. So when it goes back and forth between having just quarter notes, quarter notes, quarter notes instead of dotted quarter notes, then you would just 1 and 2 and 3 and so all of that. I'm sorry. This your rhythm is going to be. When you play that rhythm, you never inverse it. Yours is always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When that happens, it only happens a couple times. So, like right before letter I, will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and da 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 da. 1 and da 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 da. So we'll play through the whole thing at the end. But right now, I want to go back a little bit. I want to talk. One thing you can do to help keep track of where you are is mark where the big beats are in a measure. Like, for instance, here in 145, I would put a stripe for the 1, a stripe for the 2, a stripe on that G note for 3, and then in between the two A's for 4. Because it's going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum. So, because if you were playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 1, 2. Every time that happens where you have the quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, instead of the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you just start counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but eighth notes are staying eighth notes the whole time. So when we play that, so if I'm just going to play for a minute, and one other thing to mention, at 138, 139, 140, 141, in where you have all these long notes. If you can't play that many beats in one bow, it's okay to take 2 bows. Just make sure that when you play in measure 140, when you go back to the quarter notes, that's a down bow again. So whether you play one time up down, if you can play it all in one, or if you only want to play one note, if you just want to play the D or just play the A or the B flat, that's okay. So we'll have enough people on both sides to be able to play both notes. But if you can play both strings, you just have to make sure that you're not leaning too much on just one string or just the other. It's a trick because there's only one level line where your bow is on both strings. So if you're not used to doing that, it's okay to just play the top note or just play the bottom note. If you can't play for 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's okay to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So whatever else you do a down bow on the A in measure 141. Now, talking about the section between E and F, where he's talking about solo, water signs only. Tony wanted a smaller group of us playing at that section. So if your astrological birth sign is not Cancer or one of the water signs, you get to rest. You get to not play those notes. and just come in at 102 where it says arco tutti. Tutti means everyone, solo means, of course, solos. If you are one of the water signs, you get to pluck, and then in this measure, when it's on the offbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So you might want to practice 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 1. Same rhythm that everyone gets to do the next line, but now we're going to be bowing it. So 1 and 2 and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So stay close to the frog. Make sure that you get a nice grip or catch on those notes when you're on the C string, because the C string, being the thickest and lowest and heaviest of our strings and slowest, it doesn't want to move. He's like a big lazy cat. So you have to really make sure, kind of kick him to get him. Every time you have these accents especially. You don't want to and get that overtony, whooshy sound. You want to make sure it's biting. Nice shark bite to your... so that you've got all of those... Back at letter D, we're going to do all of these down, 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 and the word SIM just means simile, means the same. Keep doing the same. So it's okay to come off the string. You have to come off the string so you get back to the next down bow. Use a big bow. I'm sticking down here near the balance point, like just around and below the balance point. I don't even get to the middle of the bow. I'm staying down in that third here. So, and even when you're playing, stay at the bottom of your bow. You don't want to be way out here at the tip, because then it's more likely to try and bounce. We want to stay below the balance point, below the middle, so it doesn't try and bounce while you're playing all these fast notes. The rhythm from at B and C, this is all going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 And 2 and 3, and then low 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole section is like that. And one thing that you can really pay attention to while you are playing this section is to play the dynamics. When it says piano, when it has the P, make it soft, make it really quiet. And then get louder when you see the crescendo bar, the crescendo mark, and get softer when you see the decrescendo mark. Back down to piano just before C. Just before C. Get a little bit louder, then get back down to piano, and then get louder, and then die away to almost nothing just before D. And there is a rest just before D. Tony will count everyone in. So be listening for him to count in, and then everybody starts, and we don't come in for 4 measures. Anytime you see a number with that big bar-looking thing underneath it, that means it's a rest that's for that many measures long. So the 4 means we're resting for 4 measures, 64, 65, 66, 67. So you don't come in until the 5th measure after D. Other places, like at the very beginning, the rest of the cellos are doing things like the for 2 whole measures, and then we come in on the 3rd measure. And since we're going to have to play arco at letter A, we need to play these pizzicatos while we're still holding the bow. So you can practice. You just take your bow and curl it up into the palm of your hand, and then reach around with your thumb and first finger, and you can play, kind of pluck the string, either pushing it up with your thumb or pulling it down with your first finger. You can play both of those notes, or if you want to just play one, that's okay too. And then watch out that at the end of the beginning of the thing, you're playing at measure 3, measure 5, measure 7, and then again measure 8, and then rest for 9, and then in 10, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, get for the next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can pinch those both together, or you can try and do with the thumb for straight across really fast. I would not go the other way because you're too likely to hit the lower strings. So either just do with the thumb, or do pinching with both, or just do just one. At letter A, we're going to do tremolo, which when you do tremolo, that one's actually easier to do when you're a little above the balance point or above the middle of the bow, and you don't move your arm, you just move your hand like you're trying to bounce it against a wall or dribble it against a rubber wall or something like that. So it is not your whole arm and shoulder, because this is going to make your upper arm stiff, make you really tired really fast. At least we don't have to do it for very long, but the idea is with those 3 slashes is that you go back and forth really fast. You don't want to do it like 8th notes or something. You want to go faster than that. Now, the rhythm, every time you see that 3 bracket here in letter A, going A to B, that means those 3 quarter notes are taking up the space that would be 2 quarter notes long normally. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, triplet 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then start that measure 26, nice and soft. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold, and then get ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 Through that whole section, all the way until we get to letter D.
We are tuning to 440 hertz for A. Make sure you tune. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Letter A. Retard 2, 1, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Letter B. fermata. Hold through the counts. Hold. Letter T. Letter E. Now, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Solo. Tutti. Shh. Letter F. Long, long, long. One, two, three, four. Letter G. Letter H. Six, eight. Six, letter I. Shh.
So I hope you have fun. I've been having fun. And I'll see you in the group. Bye.